Hi, everybody. I'm Mel Dorr, the Aloha Shirt psychic and medium. And I'm happy to have Kevin Chandler in the house. Hi, Kevin.
Hey, everyone.
Here I am looking out at my garden. Are you
Looks
there?
beautiful.
Garden.
You got a nice sunset over the fence. It comes in
It's
nice.
really cool. And you can see every reflection of my glasses. That's Professor Peabody glasses. I can see, but everything's still, this eye's still a little blurry, but
a little blurry still, yeah.
It'll be all right, I hope.
Yeah, I think it'll get better.
All right, so the first thing I want to do is talk about Highland Park, Illinois. I am 2 towns over, but I taught up there at Infinity Foundation for over 21 years, and I retired from Infinity. And I have a lot of friends in Highland Park. And one story, my friend went to her office and she was going to leave and the elevator was broken. She went to take the stairs and her husband called her and said, "Go back to your office. There's been a shooting." Had she taken the elevator and gone down, she would have probably, because her office is right there where the guy was shooting across the street.
Wow.
So, it's just tragic. So everybody donated when I went live that night. I got about $300, which I'm donating to the city of Highland Park. If anybody wants to make donations, go to City, CITY, HP as in Peter, IL.com. That is City, H is in hippopotamus, P is in Peter, I is in illuminate, L is in Latin.com, cityhpil.com. And you can donate. I told everybody I called up there and Lucky's a therapy dog. So I'm gonna see if I can take her up there to the high school, because that's where they're doing a lot of counseling and things like that. Just let people pet her and play with her. It may be able to relieve a little anxiety.
Yeah.
Anyway, so again, city, HPIL.com. There you go. So having gotten that out of the way, are we ready?
Yep, all set.
Big news today. A long time ago, Linda Grindle and I had predicted as well. I saw Boris, and you said it too. We saw Boris Johnson gone, and he resigned today. But the only thing is, well, he resigned because 50 of his ministers and senior government officials resigned. But he said he's going to stay in power in office until he appoints a new cabinet, which could take months. That's just a ploy for him to hold power.
Yeah. Did they say on the news? Did they say on the news why he was resigning, or is it just all these scandals that he's been in?
All the scandals.
Yeah. Because I was definitely picking up a lot of scandals. But I think the first time I was on your channel, I said I saw him leaving, and I was picking up that there was some kind of scandal coming out about money, which I don't think we've really heard about yet. So maybe he's hearing of this scandal coming out and wants to do some damage control before it happens. That's kind of my take on it.
Well, it's not going to work.
Yeah, he's out.
Because I see more lies coming out about him. He's their version of Trump.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I think the way it works in Great Britain is the people vote for the parliament, and then I think they vote for the party or the parliament. So they might vote for Labor Party. If Labor Party wins, then they put parliamentarians from Labor Party. Okay.
So that's kind of like Canada too, I think, right?
Correct. And then what happens is, I think the parliamentarians then put up candidates for prime minister, and they vote among themselves. So the people elect the parliament or the party for the parliament, and then the party in parliament votes for the prime minister.
I see.
But think about it. If he puts his own parliamentarians or appoints a new cabinet, he's thinking that they could affect the parliament and they'll keep him in. Wrong.
Yeah,
Gone.
I see him out.
And
Mhm.
I see him having some criminal investigations, like they're going to do some criminal investigations all about him. So
Yeah, and as you just said that too, and I think it has to tie into that financial scandal, for entertainment purposes only. My
yeah.
guy just said money laundering. So as you were talking, so
Um, anyway, so I saw him gone. Bye, Boris. Maybe you can buy a brush his hair a little bit.
right.
And I keep saying, and Linda Grindle said it too, and I think you did too, that I see Britain back in the EU at some point.
Yes.
Because Boris was all about, Brexit and all of that. But
Mhm.
when he did Brexit, it caused a huge supply chain shortage and caused huge inflation. And so the economy there is really bad right now.
Yeah.
But, I see the British people just saying to Parliament, get him out. Do not let him stay in. And he thinks he can stay in for months, but I see it differently.
Yeah.
Him out soon, very soon. So, and Labor, I see Labor Party at some point winning.
Yeah. I don't know how they hold elections, but yeah, I agree with you. I feel like there's a change in party over there.
I think Labor is more progressive, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what, I might have the party wrong, but I see like a more liberal
Mhm.
party holding parliament.
Yeah. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for Britain to get back into the EU because they're kind of still sorting through all of this mess. But I agree with you, Mel.
Well, they were thinking they were holding up the EU, but it was the other way around. I think they're finding out. So,
Hmm.
but people in Britain, don't get nervous. At some point, I see a decent prime minister who will be more liberal.
Yeah.
And I see the conservatives out of out of power. And my guys are showing me what Boris Johnson has done is really shattered the Conservative Party. It's splintered them. He's broken them
Hmm.
in half, just like what happened with Trump and the repubes here.
Yep.
So anyway, okay, Uzbekistan. There were people there protesting against, I think, the government. There's a certain area there they wanted to be independent. And I think the authorities there are sponsored by Putin. And the people are starting to rebel against that. I think 18 were killed and many were injured because they were protesting. My guides, this light bulb went on. And I see Uzbekistan very near a civil war. Because some of the people in that area are going to be like, we don't want Putin's politics dictating who we are. There's a sea there, I forget the name of it. And it was like an inland sea, actually. And because the Soviets, when they were there, they used a lot of the water for irrigation and stuff like that. Pumped, so all the fertilizers, because the Russians wanted to grow the Soviets wanted to grow cotton.
Okay.
And that seabed is almost dry.
Polluted it. Oh, okay.
The pollution is off the
Mhm.
charts. And so it just goes to show that they didn't care about the Uzbeki people. All they wanted to do was to exploit the land for cotton.
Yeah.
Boy, that
Well,
sounds so Republican, doesn't it?
mhm.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So what are you picking up on Uzbekistan? I'm just curious.
I'm not really familiar with that area. What was the question again, if you don't mind repeating it?
Well, I just picked up that we're going to have very near a civil war there.
Hmm. Is that like one of the countries off by like Pakistan, Afghanistan, some of those Soviet countries?
They're former Soviet countries. They're like
Okay.
Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan. There's all the stands. But they were part of the former Soviet Union, and geographically it's in Asia.
Hmm.
I don't know. They're going to stand
So
up.
so what's the question? What was the question?
I was just my prediction. I just want to know what you felt on it.
Oh, okay. About the country in
Well, we're
general?
protesting in a certain area there. They
Okay.
wanted their independence from and from Uzbekistan, but because I think that had it with Putin. But anyway, so the police and the troops opened fire on the protesters. I think 18 were killed and a lot of them were injured. And I think that's a powder keg waiting to explode.
Yeah. I just threw a couple tarot cards, and they're going through the tower moment right now. So a lot of upheaval, a lot of shakeups. So as you were saying, kind of a lot of civil unrest. Um, but it's going to get people out. It's almost like it's like a revolution energy coming through that area. And in the future, they will be celebrating. It's just kind of a lot of upheaval and a lot of destruction in that area right now. But I do see it getting better over time. Feeling like it's like 3 to 5 years out.
I pulled the 6 of spades, which means lost by theft. So that means a
Mm,
loss
a lot of corruption.
area by theft, which is exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
But it also means recovery, but after great difficulty. So
Yeah, take a little bit of time, I think.
there you go. Okay. Araceli Herrera says, a lot of us are feeling helpless right now. Do you guys think this is the end of the USA as we know it?
I don't feel that way. I can understand why a lot of people do. Everything going on right now. It's almost like it's a revolution for us too, and a lot of nasty, ugly things have to be kind of exposed to bring awareness to make those changes that we're looking for. And I'll just say with like my channel and everything, I get a lot of people are scared with everything that's going on, but I keep telling people I still feel Democrats keeping the majority after midterms. And although we're kind of dealing with a lot right now, like Roe v. Wade, I do see this being a temporary thing, and us getting some federal laws passed to codify that. And what I would say too is the energy that we put out into the universe, we kind of attract. So if we're all really angry or we're really fearful, we're attracting a lot of like-minded energy. So what I would say is try to use that energy as a motivator to do something positive and to speak your voice.
Oh, my anger is causing me to speak up, clearly.
Yeah.
I'm not going to step back and go back in the closet, not for Clarence Thomas or Brett
Yep.
Kavanaugh or any Supreme Court. And when Clarence Thomas said, I'm on his case, when he wanted to overturn, I can't remember the name of the case, but the whole he wants to they're going to revisit the sodomy laws, which really essentially kept gay people from being together.
Right.
The sodomy laws were overturned as a result of a case in Texas in 2003. And then he wants to overturn Obergefell, which is gay marriage,
Yeah.
and women's right to contraception. But here again, he ain't touching Loving versus Virginia 1959, which gave interracial people the right, which gave people the right to have interracial marriage. And he's not going to touch that one because it applies to him.
Right.
And I find it amazing that these radicalized SCOTUS pseudo-Christian like Amy Coney Barrett, if that's Christianity, count me out.
Right.
Okay. Are so radicalized. And we wonder how people become radicalized like in Muslim countries. It's happening here. And
Yeah,
we are not, they say they're not political. Bull hockey. And I think we have to let our voices be heard, that we will not let SCOTUS dictate to us how we can live our lives, or the small group of Trumplican repubes who claim to be so religious, but they're about as moral as a dog turd.
Well, you know it too, and this, they're thinking it's going to rile up their base, but my guys keep telling me it's going to backfire. A lot of Dems, independents, everybody's kind of frustrated with the inflation, and we can call it as it is, price gouging, and from all the supply chain issues and all of that, gas prices. People are frustrated by it, but they're getting people riled up, and I see it benefiting Democrats in the long run.
But the repubes knew that decided to help, that went along with Biden, decided to help Ukraine. They knew the gas prices will go up, and now they're trying to use it as political leverage. And the supply chain shortage is all due to Trump's bull hockey.
Yep.
you know, so the hypocrisy just blows me
Mhm.
away. And whenever they ask them about something important, they divert and detract like they always do.
Mhm.
Oh, well, we got to talk about, you know, inflation. We got to talk about this. Well,
They don't
hello.
have any plans.
Exactly.
They don't have an agenda.
Well, they do actually. They want to hold power, but what or want to take over power. But what some people are saying is typically when people vote, they vote on economy,
Mhm.
not so much social issues. So the question is, having said that, do you really think that this overturning of Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court says we didn't overturn it, we kicked it back to the states. Yeah,
Right.
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 So I guess, you know, people are asking, will that like kind of rise enough feathers or rise enough hackles to have people vote on social issues as opposed to economic ones?
I do see that.
Okay.
And you know what I'll say too is I don't gas prices are still really high, but I mean they've came down over 50 cents in the last 2 weeks here in Ohio, so they're going down.
Well, in
Things are
Illinois,
getting better.
Governor Pritzker is going to get breaks on tax,
Hmm.
tax and all kinds of stuff, and gas tax.
Yeah.
And you know, his running mate, a repube, when that shooting happened in Highland Park, um, you know, Governor Pritzker, I have to give him credit. I have to give the police department their credit, sheriff's departments, you know, FBI, uh, firefighters. They did an amazing, amazing job. But the Republican governor says, well, it's really sad that this shooting happened, but why are they canceling 4th of July? Everybody go out and have a good time. Excuse me? There's a friggin' shooter on the loose.
Right.
It was
I
like,
don't know. It's crazy.
that's going to lose him the election.
Yeah. Well, and like I said too, it's I definitely understand why people are so anxious and scared right now, but let's use that as a motivator to actually do something and call to action to, speak our truth
The
and
Democrats have
fight
got to
for
get
equality.
the Democrats have got to get tough and get up off
Yes.
of the laurels and do something. Like
Hmm.
it was very simple for me to do something to help those families. I called the village hall of Highland Park,
Yeah.
and they told me. That's all. You know, write to Supreme Court, tell them you don't like their decisions. You know, write to your legislators, tell them they can be voted out. Lobby, you know, organize peaceful protests and marches. That's our right.
Yeah.
And I see a lot more marches coming. A lot.
I do too. I do too.
All right. Sunny Sands. Oh, I like that. Sunny Sands asks, will Don Jr. serve jail time? Thank you for everything you guys do for us. Love you guys. Stay safe. Thank you, Sunny Sands. So what do you think, Kevin?
I've said it all along. I feel Junior's going to spend some time behind bars. Probably not as much as what we feel he should probably get. I'm feeling a couple years at least, 5 years.
I see him in jail too. I wonder if they can bling up those orange sliders, those orange shoes they have to wear with gay flags all over them.
I wonder if what's his name, Mike Lindell, My Pillow, will be able to send him pillows.
Oh, there you go.
His rock hard pillows for his jail cot.
I don't think they should be stuffed with feathers. I think they should be stuffed with concrete.
Yeah.
Here, sleep
You
on
know what?
these.
I'll own up and say, like, years and years ago, before I even knew who he was, I did try his pillows, and it was the worst pillow I ever bought in my life.
For entertainment
It went
purposes only.
it went in the garbage, I think, a couple weeks after I got
It's a
it.
fair critique.
Yes.
I ain't gonna buy a Tesla, and I ain't gonna use those pillows. All right. Let's see. Okay. C'est la vie. Hello, Mel and Kevin. Will Merrick Garland stop D. Trump from running for president by indicting him for sedition, inciting an insurrection, fraud against his donors, or something? Well, my guides had shown me that a woman would bring him down. And when that woman, what's her name? His
Cassidy Hutchinson.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry, there was a motorcycle went by. I got the sliding door open so I can get some breeze. Her testimony certainly didn't help. And I'm going to tell you what else is going to happen. Actually, in Italian, it's pronounced Cipollone, but in English, they say Cipollone. He's going to testify.
Tomorrow he's going to testify.
And I don't think he's going to plead the fifth too many times.
No, I don't either. You know what, too? My guides kind of said, especially with this hearing, that it would be explosive. They said it'd be like an early 4th of July fireworks show, and it was. I feel like the next one's not going to be quite as explosive. I mean, it will be revealing, but they keep telling me like they're saving the best for the last. Like
They are, because there's more coming.
there's a lot more coming.
It's like
And you know what I'll say too?
It's like my friend.
What was that?
It's like my friend Beverly Kirby says. She's a good medium. She goes, "Buckle up your seatbelts. It's going to be a wild ride."
Yeah, get the
Hi,
popcorn
Bev.
ready.
Hi, Beverly. Beverly's just getting over COVID. So
Oh, yeah.
her healing energy. Go ahead, Kevin. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was just going to say, you were saying you and Linda both said you saw a woman taking her down, but I've always seen that as well. And the card that I get a lot is the Three of Cups. And so there's 3 women celebrating in it. And I also often felt it would be 3 women. So I think there's more than one. Maybe it's her, Ivanka. I always felt like really flipping on Daddy, and maybe Liz Cheney or somebody else that hasn't revealed themselves yet.
Well, for Donald, and the other thing too is that woman in Georgia who is,
I
think she's the state's attorney. I forget what she is exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, she's the attorney general.
Yeah, she's attorney general.
And they're indicting people. They're not indicting them yet, but Lindsey Graham cracker.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
And of course, he's not going to willingly cooperate.
No, but he better, because they'll.
He already said he's going to try to fight the subpoena that she sent him. So
he can try all he wants, but it's not going to work.
I agree.
Because if that governor down there interferes, you can't do that. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's illegal. People like Lindsey Graham, notice how they try to wield their power when they know their butt is in a sling.
Mm-hmm. Well, and have we heard anything from Lindsey Graham really, like all year? He's kind of been hiding really low, not trying to attract any attention.
He's a coward. He's a chameleon. Yeah. Entertainment purposes only. We're going to call him CNC, coward and chameleon. CNC Graham and Eastman. I think they wanted to. I think they subpoenaed him.
Yeah.
Well,
he'll be one that won't cooperate either, I don't think.
Well, he'll plead the fifth.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Jenny Thomas. Well, not for Georgia, but for they subpoenaed Giuliani too, by the way.
Yep.
And his butt's going to be in jail big time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Lindsey Graham, they're going to get some stuff on him too. Jenny Thomas. Well, my lawyers are telling me not to testify.
Pretty convenient, right? Pretty convenient.
We had said that she was complicit in the 1-6 thing, and somebody had sent me a comment way back when. No, she's not. She didn't know where the bus is. She didn't do this. Well, hello. Here we are.
There's definitely something there,
right?
And I always felt that she. We can all differ on opinions, I guess, but I definitely feel like she was there helping funding for buses to get people out there.
Well, there's another woman in Georgia that's going to help bring Trump down.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the thing in New York's over yet.
No, but I always felt I feel the things that are really going to stick for Trump anyway. Maybe Lindsey Graham and others for Georgia. But I always felt January 6th really being revealing, and them sending all their stuff to the DOJ, and I do feel Donald Trump will get indicted from that. And then I feel like with Letitia James, I know it's a civil case, but I really feel like that's going to end his entire empire. He's going to lose everything from that.
When you said that, my light bulb just went on, and I just saw buildings crumbling. Just crumbling. I don't think that's literal, but it's
right. I think Mar-a-Lago will be underwater in the next couple of years, I would say.
In receivership, BK, bankrupt.
Yeah.
Wonder what they'll do with the gold toilet. Who would want it? Oh,
Right.
could you imagine if they melted down and say this is part of Trump's gold toilet? I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, I wouldn't want whoever's job it is to scrub it. That's for sure.
How about donate the money to the poor? All right. My guides had shown me that behind closed doors, Merrick going like this,
Yeah.
and he's got papers in his hands. So that means investigation. That means let's keep it quiet. And they've done a good job of keeping it quiet. I'm sure that the 1/6 commission has already sent stuff over to the DOJ.
I don't feel like they're fully cooperating, but I think that there's a reason for that too, because I feel like if the DOJ had everything, there might be some things that they wouldn't let the January 6th announce.
Correct, because they're not going to play their hand.
Right. So I feel like that's the reason for it, but I think behind the scenes there's a lot more cooperation than we know.
It's funny about Trump. I pulled the 7 of Hearts, which means a change of residence.
Oh.
So when you said Mar-a-Lago, I pulled a card. I got the 7 of Hearts. Change of residence.
I think he's in New Jersey now.
They don't want him either.
No.
Let him go. I don't even. Well, let him go like right next door to Marjorie Taylor Greene or Candace Taylor, who was a repub candidate for governor in Georgia, and she's all about Jesus, guns, and babies.
No, of course she is.
She claimed that the stones that were bombed, those I forget the name of those stones.
The Guidestones or
the Guidestones.
Yeah, I read on them once. I'm not really all that familiar, but yeah.
That they were satanic and included destroying them as part of her platform. Entertainment purposes only. Whoever destroyed those, okay, I'm not saying she gave the order, but I'm sure that they were people that were supporting her.
Yeah.
I got a funny feeling she probably knows who did it.
Yeah, I skimmed through your questions, and I noticed that somebody did answer a question on that, and asked a question on that, and I was going to say that's exactly what I was picking up too. It was just like some crazy evangelical out there thinking it's all satanic. Although when I've read on them before, there's a lot of mystery with it. Like nobody knows who.
They do know. They do.
Do they?
Yeah, they do. But I mean, the things it said, they're not satanic at all. They just make sense.
Yeah.
I've got it copied down. I'll do it at the very end. So I'll read them all and people can choose for themselves. Okay, this one's really good. Colleen Brown. Mel and Kevin. Putin, Russia is threatening to try and take back Alaska. Put your boxing gloves on, Vlad, because you ain't getting it. As it was once owned by them, when State Street was a prairie. Will they really try something this stupid? They are only 50 miles from the Alaskan coast. We really need to nip this in the bud. This is what Hitler did. They also plan on sweeping across Europe and threaten to nuke England and Ireland. I think they've gone mad. Well, I had said that my guides had shown me that Putin wanted to go through Ukraine, then he could go up into the Baltic republics and take them, and then go down into Moldavia, however you say it, and go into Romania, and then through the Czech Republic, and I'm sorry, through the Czech Republic. Ukrainians will not stop fighting. Putin made a statement that this hasn't even begun with Ukraine. Oh, really? If he tries something like that, those countries are NATO. It's going to be World War III. And if he's going to try to take Alaska back, the invasion of Ukraine was so screwed up. I mean,
right. Yeah, I mean, and really, like, they can't even get all of Ukraine. So how are they going to have the resources or the military to go take other things? I think he's just kind of talking out of his butt, is what I was feeling, especially with the question about Alaska. Like, he's just trying to act all big and macho and scary, but
it's bullying. He's trying to get people fearful of him using nuclear weapons. But
I
if
don't
he uses them, you know what? He'll perish too.
Yeah.
I think he's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. NH Mountain Dancer. Ooh, I like to cloud dance. Yay, Appalachian. Okay. Will Matt Gaetz be indicted in August? Greenberg's sentencing happens in August. Yes. Oh, and another question related to this. Will DeSatan be on this too? Thank you.
I think I said that before, that I felt like this Matt Gaetz scandal is going to be a big thing that takes DeSatan down. My guide said no to August. I feel like it's in the fall. I don't feel like it's too far off there, but I don't think it's August.
Well, what'll happen is he'll get indicted, and then they'll try to postpone it and postpone it and postpone it until they think that the repubes can take over and whoever it is might pardon him. But I don't see it that way.
Yeah. Well, and I think the whole holdup, and this is why I think DeSatan's involved in it, is I think that they're probably buddy-buddy, and, you know, for entertainment purposes only, I'm sure that there's a big connection between the two of them. And I think that somehow DeSatan was able to hold this up for Gaetz, because I was feeling last summer he was supposed to be indicted, and then we really haven't heard anything since now. So I feel like there was a holdup intentionally, and, you know, it was on DeSatan's part.
One of my clients sent me a shirt. It's a picture of Lucky and myself. Asked for my picture with the dog. I could figure it out. And it says, for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you got to be careful. I mean, you got to be careful and cover yourself.
You know, this is our psychic opinion.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, what are they going to do? Sue us because we gave our opinion?
Right.
Okay. Linda King. Hi, guys. Really enjoy both of you. Question. They are making a lot of changes with Social Security. Do you see any change in marriage penalties? As of now, you're penalized with less money and our insurance with Social Security, SSDI, Social Security for, I think SSDI is, or is it SSI? I think it's for people that have a disability.
Yeah.
And do you see our LGBT communities lose the right to marry? I see them increasing Social Security a bit. Of course, some of the repubes will try to take it away because they say it's an entitlement. Wrong. People have paid into it their whole lives. Why is it an entitlement? Wrong. They paid into it.
Let me tell you something. If these Republicans want to get rid of, you think that you've seen rioting and protests, get rid of people's Social Securities that people have been paying into for their whole life. It would get ugly. I promise you that. I don't see that happening.
Some Republican women that I know are hopping mad about Roe v. Wade.
Yeah, me too.
So
me too.
Anyway, and the whole thing about them talking about overturning gay rights and all of this. You know, it's just this ultra right wing, like Amy Coney Barrett's of the world and Clarence Thomas's and the holier than thou Kavanaugh after he tried to molest somebody. That, you know, they're claiming to be so religious and they're bigoted, racist jerks.
Yeah, and you know what? And I do feel like I think that we're going to hear more about the gay marriage being overturned. I am not feeling it at this time. I've thrown on it, and I don't see it being overturned. But I definitely see them talking more about that, and
if they
even like the contraceptive ban. It would be a nightmare if they overturned it.
If they overturn it, guess what? Now, here's what's happening with Roe v. Wade. A lot of the attorney generals in those states and district attorneys, they are not prosecuting women who get abortions. They refuse to do it. So that kind of puts those states in a constitutional crisis. But I think this is some of these states, specifically some southern ones, way of trying to secede, and it won't work.
No.
Okay. Okay. Lupe Cortez, will the Mexican president become a dictator? You know what, Lupe? I don't know, but it must be short for Lupita, but I will look at it in the future and see. I just don't know at this point.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with the politics down there.
Okay. So they'll try to mess with gay marriage and they'll probably kick it back to the states. But if they do that, at some point, Obergefell will be upheld by a
Yeah.
Supreme Court where I see that's not going to be as radicalized. And what I see as term limits coming for those justices,
Yeah.
yay, and
Hmm.
rules that they have to live by. And if they don't, then they're off the court.
Yeah. Certain recusal,
Correct.
excuse me, recusal for like conflicts of interest. I agree with you, and I think that I know Biden said that I don't think he quite supports adding justices to the court, but I think as they continue this talk, it might kind of come down to after midterms. We have to add a couple more
I
justices.
see
I
more.
definitely see them talking about.
I see more justices on the court.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, if they kick gay marriage back to the states and reinstating sodomy laws, I think the attorneys general will not. A lot of them, a lot of DAs won't prosecute that.
Yeah.
Um, so, it has me worried, but I'm going to speak up.
Yeah.
Gary and I talked about if that happened, leaving the country, maybe going to Ecuador or somewhere like that. And I said, no, why should we have to leave our country? Because
Hmm.
this group, this small group, is trying to tell the rest of us what to do.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think that would be a crazy popular idea even for a lot of Republicans. I mean, a lot of Republicans have family members that are gay or friends or
Of course it
neighbors that
does.
yeah,
Liz Cheney's sister is lesbian.
yeah.
So
I think it took her a while to kind of come around to the idea, but I think she finally said a few years ago she supports it. But
she had no choice.
yeah.
Anyway, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, my light bulb went on. I see her in
Yes.
under indictment because she was complicit in on the January 6th uprising. She made a statement about the Highland Park shootings. Oh, well, he was probably high on marijuana, and that's what did it. Give me a break.
And it's getting really old hearing all these Republicans blaming this all for mental illness. It's getting old.
I agree.
And if that was the case, you think that they'd be more for, getting access to people that need help,
Correct. They wouldn't be cutting.
and they're not for that either. So I mean, it's ridiculous.
They say they worry about the rights of an unborn child, but yet they do not want to pass any kind of legislation to ban assault weapons of war and mass destruction, even the Supreme Court. But yet they're preaching out of the other side of the mouth about the sanctity of human life.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned those justices who overturned that Supreme Court, that gun law in New York, and these politicians who won't do anything about gun control, every mass shooting, they're guilty of the blood of those victims on their hands.
Yeah. I agree. And even after the baby's born, they don't want people to have abortions. Where's the funding for,
all they hear about is birth,
foster care and making
pro-birth.
sure that they're taken care of. Right.
I want to do away with all the programs, to take care of those kids. Marjorie Taylor Greene, well, there'll be more babies to adopt. Oh, not Marjorie Taylor Greene, Amy Coney Barrett. Oh, Amy, so I get it. So now you're into selling babies, right?
Yeah.
But Marjorie Taylor Greene, she made some comment about gay people marching and, if there were gay people being shot. I forgot what it was. And it was just so out there. And when my light bulb went on, and I'm saying, she's going to be indicted. She's going to be indicted, and she is going to have, I got a funny feeling she could end up in jail.
I've said that too. And that's why a lot of people are nervous. They'll ask me if she's going to get reelected. And I said, I kind of feel like she will get reelected, but it's not going to be for very long because I keep feeling indictments and jail time for her as well.
Even the people in Georgia can't stand her.
Yeah. Well, her district's extremely red, though. So I think even after, that 14th Amendment thing that was going on, she was in court. She still won her district, I think, by like 2/3 of support. So that really didn't change a lot of their minds. It's a very red district.
I don't know, but I think other people in Georgia are going to get tired of her.
Yeah, well, that's for sure.
I just ultimately saw her just like dog meat.
Mhm. And Bobert's gonna get voted out. I see that. Redid her district, and it's
You know,
favoring
it's
Democrats more.
what does this country come to with all this QAnon crap?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's crazy. All right. Kate Hill, I mean, it's madness and it's got to stop.
Yeah.
Kate Hillenbrand. In Florida, everyone is anticipating Joel Greenberg has implicated Representative Matt Gaetz for sex trafficking. But does he also have anything on Governor DeSantis?
Mm.
The three have been photographed together.
Oh, well, like I said before, I definitely feel a connection with the sex trafficking. That's what I was alluding to earlier. So
Entertainment
that's why it was delayed.
purposes.
Yes.
I caught it.
Entertainment purposes only. Thank you.
And what's the deal with the Georgia Guidestones that were destroyed yesterday? You know what, Kate, we answered that one already.
Mhm.
So Denise, I like this one, Denise. Thank you both for all you do for us. Appreciate you both. There is much focus on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. What do you see for them? Do they ever return to UK or do they stay in the US and do Netflix and develop their brand? I see them developing their brand.
Mm.
You know, I mean, they would return to UK maybe for vacations and things like that, but I think that they want to develop their stuff.
I do see them eventually going back to the UK. I think it's when I don't see Charles. I kind of have a hard time seeing him as king to begin with. But if he is, I think he might be for a very, very short time, maybe a year or two, and then William will be king. And I do see down the line when William's king that they their relationship gets better.
That's what I think too, but I don't know. You know, if anything, they might spend part of the time there, but I still see them part of the time in North America.
Could be.
All right. Layla, will there be a stimulus check? I heard, not that I will get one or ever got one, right before the 2022 election to help with the high costs associated with the gas, et cetera. If accurate, will it pass the Senate? I keep seeing some kind of stimulus coming.
I do too.
And it can pass the Senate because with Kamala votes for it, then we've got the majority.
Well, then you have to worry about Mansion and Cinema too, and with the
They'll do it because they want
inflation.
to stay reelected.
Yeah. Well, and with the inflation and everything, I do feel like I think as we get closer to it, it might not happen before midterms. It might be around midterms or a little bit after, but I do feel a stimulus
I
package
see it kind of
towards the end of the year.
I think it's a great idea actually before.
Yeah.
But my feeling is Cinnamon Mansion would go for it.
Yeah.
Because
I think as we get closer.
right. I can't see this. Tirips Regnable? I can't pronounce it anyway. The other day, our dog woke us up during a thunderstorm, needs lots of comfort and reassurance. Well, dogs get nervous in thunderstorms. She's 13, and this is not typical behavior for her. We were trying to get her to settle down when the light suddenly turned on in the room. It felt like an omen. Everyone in the house was wide awake at this point and unable to fall back asleep for a couple hours, and I've been slightly drained ever since. I have two questions. What happens with the light, and do you have any insight into my dog's health? Thank you. Well, we're not doing those kind of questions, but she said the lights came on, right?
Mm-hmm. I definitely get the dog was stressed out, and it very well could have been a visitation from a family member. Something stressed the dog out, and I think the storm with it was kind of like the final straw with it. The dog feels very stressed out.
I think the lights coming on, I think that was a guide or a family member. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's an omen of anything bad.
No. I just think I feel like it was a family member, somebody visiting, so maybe that's why everybody was up at that time, and they were trying to get your attention.
I think the dog woke everybody up, right?
Hmm.
Hold on. Everyone in the house was wide awake at this point. Maybe they'll fall back asleep for a couple hours. I don't know why you're drained. I don't know what the feeling of being drained is all about, but I mean, the dog looks pretty healthy to me.
Yeah, it just feels like it was stressed out, and maybe too. I'm not sure how long ago this was, but thunderstorms do tend to stress out dogs, whether it was something that happened or not. But even like fireworks too. So I feel like if there were a lot of that going on, because my guides did show me something about fireworks, maybe it was just like continued stress and everything was
I
kind of
happened with Lucky. She would
weird.
hear the fireworks, and then we had a thunderstorm later on, and she'll take her toy in her mouth, and then she'd go look out the window, and then she'd kind of hide under the coffee
Yeah.
table with her toy in her mouth. That's her like value. And I was like, come on, girl, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. And I slept on the couch because, well, number one, Gary's got COVID, but I wanted to comfort the dog.
How's he doing? Was it mild?
Um,
Milder?
well, it was a week ago Monday. Last it was no so Monday 7, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it's 10 days.
Hmm.
Uh, and Thursday he was feeling okay last Thursday, but then Friday his temperature came back, and Friday and Saturday he was in bed all day. Sunday he felt better. Monday he didn't feel too good, but he's starting to come back. He looks still a little peaked, but I've got him on turmeric, and I'm take 2 aspirins every day because COVID can cause blood clots, and so that prevents the blood clots. Okay. Will Houston have hurricanes this year? I do see hurricanes coming through up through the Gulf. I don't know if it'll hit Houston, maybe Galveston.
I'm not sure exactly in Texas, but in my 2020 predictions on my channel, I was feeling there's going to be more than 4, but I was feeling 4 major ones, and I do feel one going. It's either like I think Louisiana, Texas, or into Texas. There's one going in that area.
Okay. Hoscape says, we've touched on this, but I'll read it again. Hi, Mel and Kevin. Boris Johnson has been pushed out, although I have my doubts he will not go quietly and will cause mayhem and chaos. Yep, just like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Will his replacement be an improvement, or will they continue to carry on with the authoritarian policies like the Rwanda asylum deportations and the repealing the Human Rights Act? I just hope that whenever the next general election happens, that we have a kind and progressive leader. As I said, I see liberals coming back to power.
Yeah, me too.
And even if they carry on with the deporting Rwandan people that want asylum, at some point they'll stop doing that. And they can try to overturn the Human Rights Act, but I see it reinstated at some point. So there you go.
Yeah.
The conservatives are just getting crazy. I mean, crazy. And Boris Johnson did what Trump did. Boris Johnson played on the xenophobia of the British people. It's broke. I could fix it. And he screwed it up worse.
Mm-hmm. Well, and all this Russia interference into elections is not just the U.S., as we know.
Well, that was Putin wanted to see. What Putin wants to do is create chaos and anarchy.
And he wants to destroy democracies in NATO too, and break up that alliance. That's
correct. Well, that's what he wanted, and that's why Trump was so anti-NATO, because Trump is in Putin's pocket.
Yep.
But I think Boris Johnson, it's the same thing. Britain's broke, and I'm going to fix it. Mm-hmm. Hello, it's worse off now than what it was before he took power. Trump did the same thing here. Mm-hmm. And so, I hope that the Trumplicans and some of the British people got kissed, because when you get screwed, you need to get kissed. Because we all got screwed over big time.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I mean, they play on the xenophobia. They play on, they want the chaos. They love that, because then they can keep telling people that they're going to fix it. Well, you know what? The truth came out, and it overturned Boris. He's not done yet. So I think that's very, very intuitive and an excellent observation from Hoscape, because he's not going to go quietly.
Yeah. Well, and too, all about getting people fearful and scared. It's all about control and power for these people, playing to their fears to get control and to stay into power. I mean, that's ultimately what it is.
And it's the misinformation. I got a funny feeling Putin is behind a lot of this QAnon BS.
Yeah.
He's got to be laughing, thinking that people are stupid enough to buy that.
Well, it didn't work this last election, did it?
He's old KGB. I mean, he's got a lot of the Russian people believing that, that Ukraine did something wrong. And what about Marjorie Taylor Greene going on about that Putin's this, he's great, he's that. If you don't like it, then go there and live with him.
Right.
And then tell me how you like it. When you can't get tampons, when you can't get McDonald's, when you can't get your designer clothes, when you can't use your Visa card.
Right.
Oh my goodness. I'm on a roll.
Yes.
Patricia Epperson, love you, Mel and Kevin. Will they bring down indictments on the Trump family before he says he's running again? It better be soon.
Mm.
Well, they're not just going to throw something on the wall to see if it sticks. I think Kushner is going to be in trouble.
Yes. Kushner and Jared, I feel Ivanka will get in trouble, but I think that's where this flip on her daddy happens, and she makes some kind of deal to avoid jail time. But
his son with a beard's going to be in deep doo-doo.
Oh, Eric?
No, Eric. No,
or Don Jr.
Don Jr.
Yeah, he's definitely spending some time behind bars. I feel it feels like it's more next year. But
Go ahead.
Oh, I was talking about Junior. We'll spend some time behind some time in jail. I feel Kushner too, but it feels like it's a year or two out. I do feel that everybody's telling Trump that you can't announce that you're running for president yet, but he's such a narcissist. I feel like it's going to happen here soon. I feel like next month, and I think it's going to actually really rile up a lot of Democrats to come out and vote in midterms as well.
I think he's trying to swing it out and just dangle the carrot. But
I don't see him running, by the way. Really? But I do think that he may shortly jump in the race, or start doing his rallies and
say he's going to do it just to keep DeSatan from doing it, because he can't stand DeSatan.
Yeah, but he's such a narcissist. He's dying to get back on the stage and to cause all the chaos. Yeah,
of course he is, but it's not going to work. I see that failing miserably.
I agree. I don't. He will never be president again. I can tell you that.
No. Goodbye, Donald. You know, his son, that light bulb went on my head. My psychic light bulb went on.
Yes.
I see a woman coming out. I don't know if it's his girlfriend or it could be somebody he dated in the past, and it's somebody he told a bunch of stuff to. And she's going to come out and say, he told me. And that's not hearsay if he told her.
I think it's his ex-wife.
It could be. Because
I'm sure that she signed a non-disclosure agreement, but yeah, as you were saying, that ex-wife came up.
A woman's going to bring him down too.
Yeah.
Okay. Jenny W. Hi, Mel. I heard that Matt Gaetz has been talking to investigators behind the scenes. Is this true? If so, is he spilling tea on DeSatan? Oh, he'd sell his mother to the devil if he knew that he could flip on somebody and stay out of trouble.
Yeah, it's not going to work though. I don't know. I don't feel like he's been very cooperating or telling people stuff. I'm not feeling that right yet.
Have you noticed he's been very quiet?
Yes.
And if they come out, I see a lot of quarrels around him, everything. You know, when they come after him and he knows he's going to be indicted, he will sing like a kitten. And so
I agree. And he's in trouble for January 6th stuff too. It's not just the
correct.
He's gonna have some time behind bars.
You're gonna have stuff as long as your arm on him. Oh, that's where I have blood drawn. It's not that it's a drug habit. It's drew blood. It's like
But you saying all the quarrels around him, I actually feel like the last hearing or something massive is going to come out of this January 6th. Like I said, they're saving the best for last, and we are going to see all of these Republicans start flipping on each other, and it is going. Like I said, get your popcorn ready. I think we're going to all enjoy it, but it's going to be pretty ugly.
The cockroaches can't run back in the woodwork.
Yeah.
Right?
Something big is happening. I feel more towards the end of this month.
Okay, Sherry Dombick, is Arizona going to turn into a blue state? Who do you think is going to be our new governor? I see them more purple, you know?
Yeah, it's purple.
They're going to be hopping mad if they try anything with Roe v. Wade, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. I do think that I see, I don't remember what the governor is. Ducey, I think maybe. I do think Katie Hobbs is running for the governor race. I feel a woman getting in there.
Okay.
So I feel it
I
will be
just don't know
Democratic.
who it is. I don't, but I'll look.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I do feel
Democrat or
the
Republican?
governor race is going to go Democratic in Arizona,
Do you know?
and Mark Kelly is going to win.
Okay, Karen Stenius, what's the significance of the 7/7 portal today? I have no clue what that means. So
I don't either. I have seen people post on it in the community, but I'm not really sure either. I'm not big into the astrology myself, or very knowledgeable.
I don't know. Okay, Raymond Gutierrez, Mel, I'm wondering, Mel and Kevin, what is it that motivates our young people to go out and shoot innocent people at random? Thanks for everything you do. You're the best. I think it's the radicalization. You know, people talk about how can it happen to the young people in Muslim countries? It's happening here.
Yeah.
And so I think what happens is, you know, the QAnon causes these young kids to suspend their critical thinking, and it brings up fears and it plays on the xenophobia, like they're going to take away our rights, they're going to do this, blame everybody else, and then they get mad, and then, you know, when the Supreme Court overturns a law in a state for gun control, and they see other people going out shooting other people, they think, I'm not going to worry about the consequences. I'm going to take a gun and I'm going to have my moment of fame because I want to make my statement.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I do feel like, too, you have to think a lot of what these people have been conditioned to with, you know, kids playing video games and how graphic and gory that is, too, I don't think helps. But I agree that I think it's mostly the being radicalized.
We can agree to disagree on that one. I am just so tired of people, well, not you, but, oh, it's because of video games.
No, I'm not saying that's the whole reason.
No, I know that. But this kid was in Highland Park was blinking red. Oh,
Yeah.
You know, he had all these weapons. He threatened to kill his family, and his father said, "Oh, he just said that because he was upset." How many kids who are upset say they want to kill their family? Give me a break.
I agree.
Blinking red. And so,
well, you know what? I'll just say with him too, and I don't say this very often, but just as an empath and picking up on his energy, which is one that I really don't want to tap into, it reminds me of very much like Charles Manson, like soulless. Like there's nothing behind those eyes. It's very, very dark and evil. His energy.
Remember how Manson brainwashed the people to do what they did because he caused them to suspend their critical thinking. He made them think that he had all the answers. He was going to fix it. And the same thing is happening. It's the same sort of, it's the same sort of technique. And it's fueled by misinformation and it's fed by fear.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Aries Wanderer, I like that. Okay, will Sheldon Whitehouse be successful in uncovering and exposing the dark money influence in our government? Yes, yes, and yes.
Yeah, I think we've both been saying that for a while. It doesn't feel like it's going to happen tomorrow. It feels like it's a year out or two. But yes, I agree.
Oh, sweetie darling Lulu says, hi, Mel and Kevin, love you. Why did Q from QAnon come back online to continue the grift? I didn't know it did come back online, but I see it taken down again.
Okay. I'm not really familiar with that. Is it like a website where they all get together?
I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so let me just do one thing, Kevin, before we finish, because people wanted to know what's written on the stone. And this is clearly not satanic. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It says maintain humanity under 500 million. No, 500 billion. No.
It's 500 million.
500, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Okay. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Unite humanity with a living new language. World passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nation with fair laws and just courts. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Hello, Candace Taylor. Hello, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Hello, Brett Kavanaugh. Hello, Amy Coney Barrett. Hello.
Call them out.
Thank you. Entertainment only, you all. Okay. Um, let me see. I screenshot it. Let all nations rule internally. Yeah, we said that. Balance personal rights with social duties. Yes, I believe that. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Be not a cancer upon the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. Now that was unveiled back in March of 1980. So what is satanic about that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of mystery about, like I said, who created it, and I don't think anybody really knows. And a lot of people are saying it's like
No,
what to do after the apocalypse or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. I think they kind of knew who did, but I still don't think it's satanic.
No, I agree, but I do think that that's why it was somebody thought it was, or was told to do it because that's what they believed.
Well, I mean,
I
back
mean,
in the 80s,
destroying it. I
we were
mean,
under the threat of nuclear annihilation. I remember in the 60s growing up with the threat of nuclear annihilation. It wasn't pretty,
yeah,
being fearful of that. And I don't know, but I don't see anything satanic about it.
yeah, I agree.
Did they ever, hey, Candace Taylor, Jesus, Guns, and Babies, did you ever stop to think that maybe, that just maybe, whoever wrote all that their hand was guided by God?
Hmm. Do you feel like they're gonna find out who destroyed it?
Yes, they will.
Yeah, I was feeling that too.
And they will go to jail. And you know what? They can destroy the monument, but they can't destroy what it meant. And guess what? I see it being built back.
Mm. Well, I mean, it's private property.
Well, I think the government destroyed it because they said it was unsafe after the explosion.
Well, yeah.
But I see it built back. Yay. So whoever did it, they'll get caught. And that'll give people, that doesn't give people the right to blow up things just because you disagree with it.
Right. I
But
agree.
we're becoming a very violent society, and it has to stop. And my guides tell me at some point this gun madness will stop. And this crazy madness from the alt-right, this American apartheid, will stop. So,
I think that it's going to be a big problem until we can get gun legislation done.
nobody's trying to take away anybody's guns.
Yeah.
We just need really strong gun control. And we don't need assault weapons. They're weapons of war. Anyway. All right, Kevin, this was fun. I enjoyed it.
It's always fun.
I get on my little rolls,
Mhm.
I get on my rolls and my Southern accent comes back. Anyway. All right. You stay well. Next week, your channel.
Thank you. Yes.
Wait,
Sounds
what
good.
is next? What is next?
Let me see. It's the 7th today, so it'll be July 14th.
14th. All righty. So
All right.
next week. Now, everybody visit Kevin's YouTube channel. Kevin, give them the information.
My channel's Kevin's Loving Vibrations. And then if anybody's interested in a reading, or I do Reiki energy healing, you can email me at kevinlovingvibrations@gmail.com. I am going to get a business phone, I believe, this weekend, so I will be posting that here soon. And also, I'm getting very close to 4,000 subscribers, so once I do, I will be giving away 2 free 30-minute readings. Once I get to that, I will post something on my community board, and I'll give ample time for people to sign up for that before I call.
So everybody go to Kevin's channel.
Yes.
Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and you're watching us on my channel. Thumbs up, subscribe, and namaste, everyone.
Thanks, Mel. Take care, everyone.
Remember, let your voices be heard.
Yes.